Harambe friends, it is Charles here, and I'm gonna put this out on both of my channels. Primarily the Chronic Cripple Collector channel, which I vlog about my disability, trying to live, and things I've learned being a disabled person. And of course, Old Nerd Reviews Wyoming, because as I've said many times, though I review comic books and action figures, the main goal of this channel is hopefully to collect with somebody or connect with somebody who may be down and going through what I've experienced, and maybe pointing them to the joy of collecting to get through the hard times. So this is relevant for both channels, I think. I was sitting around thinking about one of the hardest words I ever had to say. I couldn't bring myself to say it, and that was the word disabled. I got injured at around 29, 30 years old, and that was back in 2009. And it was a work injury doing something I had literally done thousands of times. A bad step carrying a 2 or 3 crates of soda in a congested cooler. I heard a pop. It sounded like a gunshot, but it came from within my body. It came from my knee. And when I went to stand up, I could not stand up. And I essentially crawled to the front of the store and alerted my manager that I would not be able to do my shift, that something had went wrong. The pop was disconcerting, but I'd never experienced anything like that, so I didn't know if it was going to be a few day thing or a few week thing, but I knew I'd be back on my feet. And after a few days, I still had trouble moving. I still couldn't walk. So I went to an orthopedist, and they diagnosed me with a torn meniscus. Long story short, I found out after years of therapy and surgeries and everything else, it was a misdiagnosis, and the initial surgery added to my injury. And so, fast forward, more than 2 years later, I'd done 2 years of physical therapy, 2 years of occupational therapy. I started the process of applying for disability. I still hadn't used the word disabled. I still could not bring myself to say that simple word because I was disabled. I am. But I couldn't do things like a cane. I was a fall risk. I would fall almost every time I leave the house, but I wouldn't use the cane. I wouldn't use the riding cart in Walmart. And it wasn't for any good reason. It was because of pride, because I had attached a stigma to the disabled community. I will admit it, I was that guy. And so instead of changing my thought process and learning and growing, I turned that outward judgment in toward myself. And that is when I really, really started having mental health issues. And it took until the time that I got through applying and got accepted into Social Security disability. It took that to seeing that word on a piece of paper attached to my name. It forced me to say the words, "I am disabled." And I cried. And the thing is, the doctors, after the initial surgery, the doctors didn't pull any punches with me. They told me that I was going to have constant pain and poor mobility that would decrease with age for the rest of my life. They told me that after the first botched surgery. But the only person I shared the information with was my mother. And so I had friends and loved ones expecting me to get better. And even though I knew I was never going to be quote unquote normal, I told everybody, "Oh yeah, I'm just a few months away. I'm still doing physical therapy. I'm gonna be back at work." Knowing I wouldn't, because I couldn't accept that word disability. And I mean, it stressed a lot of my relationships because I wasn't being honest with the people in my life. And when it really, really, really hit me was I was going through some physical therapy that it was actually helping me somewhat. And I hit a plateau with it. They fortunately got me to the point to where I could walk around safely, and I become comfortable with using a cane somewhat. And the physical therapist, we got done with our session, and he was like, "Well, you were at maximum medical improvement," and that's when the denial went away because I was not walking well. I had no pain-free moments, and the doctor let me know that was as good as it's gonna be. And I went to dark places. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but yeah, I got that bad. And fortunately, I had a friend who he found me on my worst day, and he decided to just drop by randomly. And I was in a very, very, very bad place, planning on doing something very, very, very bad. And I didn't want anybody around. So I put on a fake smile and told him I was going to take a nap and I wanted him to head out. And for some reason, he was like, "Nah, man, let's play some music. Grab your guitar. We're going to go to my house." And I was frustrated because I had plans to do something drastic. And he was in the way of those plans. But he was not leaving my house without me. So we packed up a guitar and I went and hung out with him. We played some guitar, listened to some jazz. First time I watched Born Identity was that night. And yeah, that night that friend saved my life. And that same friend eventually convinced me to sign up for counseling. And to make sure that I wouldn't skip out, that same friend took time off from his job in the middle of the week to make sure he could drive me up to therapy himself. So I'm very thankful to that friend. A bandmate of mine actually. If you see me posting live videos here and there, me playing music, the guy on the guitar is that friend. But going to therapy helped me to accept that word disabled. And the great thing about accepting that reality is that once I accepted it, I had a place to grow from. And okay, so I'm not going to be able to work traditionally. So what can I do? What skills do I have? I had applied for every job that I had the skill rank that I had a skill set for, but they weren't interested in somebody my age they would have to start, training from the very bottom and would have a lot of physical um, impairments as far as the job goes. I couldn't find anything in traditional work field. So I turned what was a hobby, and that is music, to a supplement to my disability. And I would play clubs 3 to 4 times a month. And I, learned of what I could do, how much time I would need to recover in between each gig. And so that's what it worked out to 3 to 4 gigs a month. It was something to keep me occupied, to bring in a little bit of money. And it got me out of my house and got me connected to the community. And in a way, it really built my confidence because when I was out and about just living, I felt inadequate. I felt insecure. But, not to brag, I'm a very, very good bassist. I'm an okay guitarist, very good bassist, okay drummer, and a crappy piano player, but I can fake it. But on the bass, I have nothing but confidence. And so getting out there amongst my peers and not having to walk and not having to do things that made me feel less than, and finding that equality and that confidence on stage led to me being able to share it, to take that confidence I learned into other aspects of my life. And it made me okay with the word disability. And I was able to find communities online, be it Facebook groups, the chronic pain Reddit community, Instagram, Blue Sky. There are a lot of people in similar boats that are just hoping for a connection. And that eventually led to this YouTube channel, actually, both YouTube channels. I started the Chronic Cripple Collector channel a bunch of years ago when people said from the Reddit group they wanted some long form content, but I was really kind of aimless. And so I just kind of let the channel slow down and stop eventually. And then with the other channel, the Old Nerd Reviews Wyoming channel, uh, I just really love action figures and comic books, and collecting is something that stimulated my mind. It gave me something to look forward to. And, even if you don't have money to buy, you can always connect online. You can always search. You can always shop and make plans and, have stuff that you want to, wait for that good deal on. And so, it's a joy that I wanted to share with others. Hopefully, if they're in the same boat as me, becoming disabled, maybe I can catch them early enough in the process to give them a look at somebody who was doing okay with being disabled and who has found ways to deal with being disabled. And so that's why I started the Old Nerd Reviews Wyoming channel. And with the Chronic Cripple Collector channel, I've been a little bit more active. I post my daily workout videos just to show that, yes, I am overweight, old, and disabled, but I still work out 6 days a week. And while I may not look like an Adonis, it has helped me out with my diabetes. It has helped me out with extending my mobility and definitely my confidence, and even practical things like from 4 years of working out, I'm able to pick myself up off of the floor on the rare occasion I do have a fall. Or if I'm just sitting there doing something on the floor, I can get out of bed consistently. I can ambulate around the house safely. And over the years, I've become comfortable not only using canes, but now I have a walker that I'll use when I want to be taking long walks, go down the park. I had to go around the store. And these mobility aids I used to dread being seen with, they actually give me more freedom and more independence, more confidence. And I just want to share that, you know, in closing, don't be ashamed of being disabled. Ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You didn't choose it, but you lived through it. And if anything, that word disabled should be worn as a badge of honor, because we start every day at a disadvantage, but we still persist. And we get up every day knowing that it's going to bring pain, it's going to bring frustration. But we get up and we go every day and we do the very best we can with whatever we have in that day. And so if you're struggling with using that word, it's okay. I did too. But when you accept it, and when you accept it's a part of your life, it gives you a place to grow from, to learn from. And there are even days like today when I woke up, I was hurting like a son of a gun. My knee is still swollen up to the point to where it's hard to even extend my leg. But I got out of bed, I hobbled to my front door, and it was a little bit late. So I figured I'd just check my mail, and I would have to do my workout inside because it was going to be dark soon. But lo and behold, the rain had stopped. I had about an hour worth of sunlight. So I was able to take my dumbbells outside and do my daily workout out in the sunshine for the little bit that was there. Yeah, I think On another point, we never know when the sunshine is going to come, but we know it will come. And as long as we're breathing, there's always going to be more sunshine. So that's why we don't give up. And that's why we persist. And let me tell you, being out on my porch in the evening with that cool breeze, moving my heavy dumbbells around, it made every negative experience I felt and dealt with that day, today, worth it. So you guys be easy and have a happy, low-paying weekend. And I will see you next time for the Old Noy Reviews. People watching on this video, I'm gonna have another comic book review for you on Monday, and then we're gonna have the regular unboxing Wednesday at 3, and I'm supposed to be getting another bonus box of comic books in from Midtown Comics Tuesday. But we don't know. You can't put money on it. So hopefully, if I can get that box in on time, we'll have a bonus unboxing Thursday or Friday. And for the guys following my Chronic Crippled Collector channel, expect more little workout videos. And if I have something to say, something to add to the conversation, I will post the video. But I try not to be long-winded and put out videos, just put out videos. So you guys be easy. I'll see you next time.